Guess who's back? Back again. It's me back again with a new video where I sit and talk to y'all because I know it's been a while and I have an excuse. Just wait. I do have an excuse on like why I've been so away from YouTube, and I've had like a lot of life events that required me to actually focus and solve them and then get to the next thing, which is this one. But overall, I'm doing great, and I hope you guys are doing great. As usual, I like to just share updates, and at the same time, like just picking your brain on some stuff where I feel I've learned something new, or I gained something, or I added something into my life. And I wanted to talk about self-respect today. And I know you'll be like, why would I want to watch a video about self-respect? Trust me, you would want to know why it's like so important to know a lot about this area before you level up into whatever you're trying to do with your life. I used to think like self-respect is more of like just giving worth to what you do and how you do it and when you do it at the same time. But I've realized it's more of like a lifestyle where, like as if there is let's just give an example of like, you don't eat a certain kind of fruits, right? And you just don't eat it, right? And you go to places where they serve only that fruit. So what would you do? And like the person who will invite you is someone who loves you so much and shower you with all the love that is in this world. What would you do? You would leave. That's what it means to have self-respect. Even if you love that person, or that that person is, loving you as well, but they only can serve this kind of food and you can't stand that kind of food, you gotta leave. That's what it means to have self-respect. I've had like a lot of life lessons, I guess, to be able to learn all of these things. But at the same time, it was like, through all of these moments, I get to sort of like share the experience. And at the same time, I would look at it from different angle. I don't know if you guys heard also of like the pizza theory of like, for example, you're extremely hungry and you don't have food in your house and someone just showed up with that food, but it's so dirty and they get to stay with you. Would you choose that even when you're extremely hungry? So it's like, a couple of events or a couple of things that you would go through, in this life that helps you learn more about your self-respect and how you kind of like just don't go below that. I used to also look at self-respect of like more of like standard, but there's like a huge difference between like having a standard and respecting actually what you want to have in this life or what you want to associate yourself with. And this is something I'm so grateful for, and this is the reason why I'm sharing it with y'all. Is like number one, if you want to have like high self-respect, is make sure to not be around people that don't match that or don't understand that they have to they have to respect a certain, principle or a certain, fundamental that you work with throughout your life. That's one. Two, you make sure to express it in a kind way or to explain it to people that are in general trying to have you with them, but they don't know that, for example, you hate that fruit. You wouldn't just, be like, okay, go, but you would just give the person like, hey, appreciate this and all. Thank you so much, but, I don't really get along with this. So this is, this is sort of like the way to sort of like just communicate it with people. The third thing is like make sure to always, when people are giving you critiques or anything related to that, is to reflect and have like self-soothing and try to understand where that resonate with you, because most of the time some people would tell you, like, for example, oh my god, you're doing too much and I've never asked you to do so. But because you have self-respect, you understand that these people are too less for you because they don't see the value that you're adding, and the value that you're adding is just something that they will never match. So you have to, like, call your self-respect back and sort of like just sit there and be like, okay, I see what you mean, I totally understand that, and we will see how we can do this. That's how you can just start the conversation. You can just do it however you like, but I normally choose like a communicative type of conversation where I allow the other person to also give their point of view, because worst case scenario, you would just see a different perspective. And if there's any triggers, it would give you like more opportunities to sort of like just work on your insides and get into the bottom of the problem. So these are like the things that I would consider as primarily thing. And of course there are like a lot of sources here on the internet where you could just pick more technical things, but I just wanted to call it back simply because I have like high self-respect. I understand why I'm so lucky in terms of like ending up in certain situations that are like good for me, and where people understand exactly how I roll with that. And for that I'm so grateful. It's like this is sort of like the reason why I wanted to put like, this is not standard, it's more of like high self-respect, because my standards are something else that I can talk about. But my high self-respect is something that you can see through sitting with me, through communicating with me, through a lot of things, right? So yeah, this is it about today's video. I'm gonna make sure to stick here for daily content, and I'll do the best that I can to show up whenever I can. But please leave a thumbs up and comment below with your thoughts, like where are you in terms of like self-respect and self-worth. See you next time. Bye.